Shalom. Hello, my true brothers and sisters, the true Israelites of Christendom. Welcome. So today I just had a thought in my mind about Bible versions. What Bible version should we be using? There is a group of people out there who think that they should only use one version. They're the King James only group. Now, for a while, I kind of stuck with that group, but I examined things a bit more, and now my preference is still King James, but I'm more open-minded about it. And the reason is this. There is nowhere in the Bible that says that the King James Bible is the only version translated into English that is correct. Because of course, the English language didn't exist at the time when they were collecting the Bible together. So, looking at the original text, the Textus Receptus is, in my opinion, still the most accurate. And from what I understand, they do not have all the original that they did have back when they made the King James Bible. Since then, some Alexandrian texts have creeped up, but there has been discussion that these texts have been corrupted by external influences. They're from Egypt. And apparently, the corruption in the scriptures today supposedly comes from a Zionist influence. So within Israel, you have the Jews, and then a subsect of the Jews is Zionists, and within that there are also Zionists who practice Kabbalah, and that's not even close to original Judaism. Also, the modern day Israeli language is not the original Hebrew language. They've really made a hodgepodge kind of language that is not the original. So the Israel of the past and the political state of Israel that we know of today are not the same thing. And so this new Israel, the modern day Israel, has, I think they've taken a political stance to the Zionists particularly, to modify the scriptures, and they have a strong influence in Christendom. So for a long time, I was a listener of Jack McLam and Tex Mars, and these guys, Tex Mars more specifically, he was the guy that talked a lot about Zionism and the King James Bible and how that was the correct Bible. So I think for my personal use, I prefer the King James Bible. I'm willing to use other versions. I just realized that I think that King James is the most accurate, but for my line of work, you know, I work teaching English, and I work with people who are not native speakers of English. So the King James Bible may not be the most appropriate version if I'm discussing some topic related to that. So I might take an easier version just to communicate more clearly, or paraphrase it myself, just to get the message across. So I don't think it matters too much, but you have to be careful with some of these more recent versions. They're really stretching things, especially the transliterations, like the Message and things like that. It's just gone too far. And now they have some basically emergent versions of the Bible where God is a woman, or, you know, they've got these all different versions like Black Bible, Ebonics Bible, and all this stuff. Some of them seem kind of, you know, like a little bit of a joke or something, but some of them are taking themselves more seriously. So I think you have to decide for yourself what you're going to use. I grew up using, well, when I was young, I had the King James. I grew up, though, using NIV mostly in the church, and I memorized a lot of that. And NIV has some problems, but they're a lot better than a lot of the newer translations. And the thing with the NIV, it's modifying, like they're updating new versions, and then they had a replacement for the NIV, which is not so good. So I encourage you to study and decide for yourself, what you think is best. Obviously, if we had the original texts in Hebrew and Greek and the occasional Aramaic or whatever, that would be the best translation because it would be the original. And language is really, as a language teacher, language is really hard to translate and convey in different languages. You're always going to get some stuff lost in the translation. But God, he is an amazing God. He's omnipotent, and he's capable of sending his message across different languages. So I think just stick with the Bible that works best for you, and it sticks truest to the original. If you're comfortable with the King James Bible, I recommend it. But if that's a little bit too old-fashioned, things like the NIV, it's not too bad. So I think it'll do the job. And just having a good study Bible or some additional literature to help you clarify all the different verses and sections, and that is helpful as well. So I think that's something that comes up a lot. I don't think that the King James Bible is the inspired English translation and the only inspired English translation. I think that's taken a bit too far. And some people, they're saying it's inerrant. I haven't seen any glaring errors with it, but I can't say for sure that it's inerrant. I think that the inerrant Word of God is actually the person of Jesus Christ, because he is the Word, according to the book of John. And what we have written down is, mostly the Word of God. Some versions, they twist it a little bit, or they take it a bit out of context. King James is pretty accurate. So I think they're pretty good to stick with. So what do you think about the different versions? Maybe you can send me a message or comment and just let me know. I know there's a lot of different opinions in the church, and this can be divisive. I hope that it's not too big of a deal that it divides the church. But just realize, especially when you're working in an ESL kind of environment, the version of the Bible doesn't matter too much. It's just trying to get the summary of what's being said across. Bye for now.